All right, let's take a look at number 15. Circle the equation that matches the graph. So what we're looking for here is where's the center or the vertex starting point of the graph. And so our parent function has been shifted 2 to the left and 1 down. So it starts at -2, -1. And so now we need to find which function matches that. So the -1 works here, here, not here, so it's not that one. -1, -1, not that one. So remember, we want to find that when I take that -2 and I plug it in, I actually want it to be 0. So if I plugged it in here, I'd get -2 minus 2 is -4, so that doesn't work. Same thing here. So now we're down to these two. -2 plus 2 is 0, so that works. -2 plus 2 is 0, so that works. So now we have these two equations that work. So now we got to find another valid point that will work. So what I would do is I would pick another point on the graph and plug it in to see if it works. So we're going to take x equals 2 and plug it in. So 2 times 2 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. And so 2 minus 1 would give us 1, and that's at 2, 1. So it has to be this one. If you were to take that same 2 and plug it in here, 2 plus 2 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. But then you get 2 times 2 is 4. Minus 1 is 3. So that graph is actually at 2, 3. All right, so we have our correct answer. All right, number 16, we're going to solve the equation and check for any extraneous solutions. So before we can square to get rid of the square root, we need to get the radical by itself. So we add 9 to both sides. And we get the square root of 3. I know it says r, but I'm going to write x minus 6 equals 6. Now we're going to square both sides. So the square undoes the square root, and so we get 3x minus 6 equals 36. Add the 6. So we have 3x equals 42. Divide by 3. And we get x equals 14. So now we want to check it. So we're going to take 14 and plug it in. So we get 3 times 14 minus 6 minus 9, which has to equal -3. So 3 times 14 gives us 42. 42 minus 6 gives us 36. The square root of 36 is 6. 6 minus 9 does equal -3, so it works. So x equals 14 is the solution. All right, number 17. We pretty much do the same steps. We're going to minus 9 from both sides. And the square root of 3x minus 6 equals -12. Now we square both sides. We get 3x minus 6 equals 144. Add the 6. So we get 3x equals 150. Divide by 3. And we get x equals 50. So now we're going to take it and plug it in. Alright, so that gives us 150. 150 minus 6 is 144. So the square root of 144 is 12. And 12 plus 9 is not equal to -3. So that means that x equals 50 is an extraneous solution. All right, for 18, I don't have any addition or subtraction outside, so we're just going to go ahead and square it. And so the square cancels out the square root, and so I get 4x. Here, that square, you have to square the 5, so you get 25. And so now the square cancels out the square root, x minus 6. So now go ahead and distribute that 25 in. I get 25x minus 150. I'm going to minus the 25x from both sides. So now I get negative 21x equals negative 150. Alright, so divide both sides by negative 21. And we get x equals negative divided by negative gives us positive. And you can reduce by 3, so you get 50 over 7. So now you can take that 50 over 7 and plug it in to see if the left side is going to equal the right side. So here we get the square root of 200 over 7. Here we get 5 times the square root of. So here it's going to be easier to write that as a 42, because 42 divided by 7 gives us 6. So 50 minus 42 is 80 over 7. And so now the question is, are these two equivalent? And so you could use your calculator. Check it out. You can actually simplify the 200 here, and this actually breaks down to be 25 times 8 over 7, and so now the square root of 25 would come out, and so 8/7, 5 and 8/7. So it does work, so this is a solution. Okay, so we have the radical already isolated, so that means we can square both sides to get rid of it. So I have x minus 2 is equal to, again, if you need to, you can use the box method to do x minus 4 times x minus 4. And so that would give you x squared, combine your like terms, minus 8x plus 16. So let's make that equal 0 now. So we get 0 equals x squared minus 9x plus 18. And so this factors to x minus 3, x minus 6 equals 0. So what would make this 0? What would make this 0? And so we think our answer is 3 and 6. So now you can check your answer. So the square root of 3 minus 2, does that equal 3 minus 4? So 1, square root of 1 is 1, which equals negative 1. So 3 is not an answer. So 3 is an extraneous solution. So now let's look at 6. So 6 minus 2 gives us 4. Square root of 4 is 2. 6 minus 4 gives us 2. So 2 does equal 2. So 3 is an extraneous solution, and x equals 6 is the solution. All right, we are going to raise both sides to the fifth power. And so the fifth power cancels out that 1/5, and so we get 2x plus 8. 4 to the fifth power is 1024. Now we just solve it. So we get 2x equals 1016 divided by 2. And we end up with x equals 508. Now take that 508, check it just to make sure. And this is something you could just plug straight into your calculator, but let's go ahead and work it out. So we get 1016 plus 8. It gives us 1024. And the fifth root of 1024 is 4, which is what we wanted it to equal. So that is a solution.